Steam is a goddamn battlefield right now, let me tell you. Um, Kind of wanted to give my opinion or my heads up to people who follow me on YouTube or on Twitter. Uh, Obviously, I'm not in the inner circle of Steamians. In fact, I'm probably on the periphery, probably in the next town or village along, actually, waving. This witness thing is just absolutely insane. This morning, like the places are just moving back and forth all morning. Last night, the Tuesday the 3rd of March, the Steamians had managed to get in initially, I think it was like 4 or 5 witnesses, which was enough to contest any hard fork that went out, as far as I'm aware. And then by this morning, when I looked this morning, there was 10, and they were all the top places. So, like, first of all, before I get into any of these tweets, like, massive props to the whole Steam community. You only have to see some of the images that are going around of, like, the craziness of, like, Justin Sun and Tron bringing in 20 puppet witnesses, probably running all on the same server without doing price updates. Just a crazy set of total disregard for the whole idea of what it is to be a witness in general in a DPoS system, especially in a Steam system. Kind of, there's a big disregard with anything to do with Steam in terms of legacy anyway. It feels very much now like just a business transaction that's trying to be forcibly pushed through in a war on freedom of speech. Really, that's what it comes down to. Like, DPoS, there's obviously flaws in it, and we've all known that for a while. We've never had a more hostile takedown than this. There was probably no idea that exchanges would do what they've done, especially by locking up people's Steam funds. Like, that's insane. That's unprecedented, and will change the very fabric of the crypto space. I'm sure there's a lot of people from other chains and other coins looking in at this and being like, well, first of all, they're looking in like, holy shit, our community does not do this. And also on the flip side of that, just shows you the strength of how much people love this place. Like, it's a place, it's a destination. It's not just a chain and code. People are intertwined in the very fabric of what this means to them, and there is a subculture that exists for the original Steam ideology, if you like, that's been built up over the last 4 years. Now, I might not agree with a bunch of the Steamians in terms of their code of ethics when it comes to be a governance witness and having also a Steam business on the chain. I think that blurs the lines of my mental state of code of conduct of, like, having a vested interest in the maintenance of the chain and the governance of the chain, but then also building a for-profit business on the chain. It's just weird to me. I get it. The bigger people at the top of the tree with the most staked Steam, and the most people who see that they're building things on the Steam blockchain, people are going to swell around those witnesses and vote them up because they're doing stuff for the chain. But I also think that introduces a very delicate situation when we're talking about the governance of the physical chain, the code of the chain. So this is crazy, right? Everything's changing, going up and down. I feel like this is a war back and forth that I don't know if this is the right approach now. Yesterday was proving ground for Steam. You've proved your point. Like, this is worth everything to you. Everybody's got behind the 21 to 40 witnesses that got bumped down. The original top 20 witnesses, which are basically consensus, make a choice when a soft fork or a hard fork gets put in, got pushed down. And all of these random ass sock puppet witness nodes got voted in. Not many votes, by the way, not compared to the cascade tsunami effect of the community getting behind getting the other people back in. So at this moment in time, at like 1 o'clock, there is, as far as I can see, there's a whole bunch of Steamians in there, and I'm presuming they have a strategy for today. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that we need to go through, but every single day for the last 3 days, there's been a Discord group for about 5 or 6 hours or more where people are planning or putting strategies together. There's Steemians who never used Twitter before that have just taken to Twitter for the first time, ignored all of the nerdy awkwardnesses and just like jumped in, and it's been incredible. It has been incredible to see. It's like everything I ever considered and thought about immutability and freedom and expression and how a state level actor can kind of be coerced has been exposed. It's out there now. We know what it looks like. We know that attack vector instead of it just being a I can't. I haven't got the theoretical. No, that sounds like electrical. You know what I mean. Instead of it just existing in our mind, that's an attack vector. It's actually been proven. Why can't I say that word? It's like I can see it, but I can't say it. All right, so the thing that I saw this morning, Habio, whoever they are, withdraws Steam votes, admits to mobilizing customer funds. Like, that sentence alone, admits to mobilizing customer funds. How does Steam not win here, right? Today, India has reversed the decision about cryptocurrency trading. Germany has done something similar in terms of opening the gates a little bit. We've got the halving for Bitcoin in, I don't know what it is, like 20 days or something like that. We're like, this is to Justin Sun and to Tron, and this fight between witnesses and your acquisition, right? Do you not see where Steem and Tron are positioned right now to potentially become, if you can come together on this situation, then you rewrite the rules of what a decentralized or a blockchain is from the future out. Like, I didn't want to take the tweets that were saying, "Oh, we're making history," because it sounded just so cheesy, like compared to things in actual history that made a big difference. But seeing what's happened and how, like in the business world, you just swallow something up. I've been calling Justin Sun and Tron the nothing from Neverending Story, this dark, depressing cloud that, like, when you lose all hope, it just consumes you. It like eats on that depression. And business is like that. Business is brutal. Business has no emotional attachment. It's just about growth, wealth distribution often, and you're trying to consume something that has heart and soul to it. Yes, the blockchain, the Steam blockchain itself is just code and technology, but people, it's intertwined with the very fabric of who they are as people. Like, they're not just blog posts and videos they're pushing to the blockchain. They're timed transactional ledger blocks of their life, and you just come in and try and like override that just so that you can change a few little bits of the way the chain works and take money out. Like, you're going to piss a lot of people off. And even if you win this so-called war right now, you still lose. Steemians have got a hell of a lot to lose. Justin Sun and Tron has got a hell of a lot to lose. So why don't we like try and find a unity here, right? And I'm not just saying that to like foster to cater to your warmongering ways. I just think there's so much more potential here right now. I don't know if you really want to go down the path of this, admitting mobilizing customer funds, and all those customers are now looking at you like, why would I even use your service again? You told me you were going to do one thing and then you've done another, which was, I have a beef about how the soft fork, the terminology of the soft fork, the actual doing the soft fork was the only action that witnesses had. I think the problem is with the terminology, with the wordage. Like, you tried to use reversal as a bartering chip to somebody who didn't give a fuck about the legacy that you've spent over the last 4 years. To them, you're just a sweatshop pumping out crypto trainers. All right? They have no relationship to it. So, like, that to me is the crux of this problem, is that people are just going to see that a big company is going to see it and be like, shit, our investment's getting attacked. But then to see the things that were going around, like, I'm going to see if I can find it. It's not this one. There was a tweet. I mean, I've got loads of tweets in here, but like, and I'm going to go through them all. But there was one. This one here from Justin in March yesterday. Steam has successfully defeated the hackers. Never a good start to a tweet. It's never a good start to a tweet. How are you defeating the hackers? Like, you just give them more ammunition to, even if there was hackers, which, by the way, I don't believe there were, unless they were your hackers that you'd asked to, subversively, like, use that as an attack vector. The funds were not safe. You think the funds are safe because you have friends in the exchanges, but what you've done is you've augmented the money in those exchanges from people who probably don't even use Steam. They maybe just keep it on the exchange until there's movement with Steam. Maybe if Steam makes it, they'll cash that Steam out, or maybe they'll power up when they decide to not use another platform. So I mean, that set a whole ball in motion, this thing here, when the governance witnesses of the Steam blockchain were like, that's bullshit. Like, we can see how this is unfolding, and that's why they rallied everybody to get in there. But I kind of agree with this thing at the bottom here. You're both arguing back and forth about what centralized group you want controlling Steam. And I have to say, no matter how much you look at it, I do feel like there is a controlling group of people who always end up floating around in the top 20. And there is some, mass debatable stuff that should have been done. We should have been spending 6 hours a day in Discord for months on end discussing that, what that looks like, how we make that more approachable, acceptable, like how do we open up a bit more, right? It shouldn't just be somebody with the most stake can make, decisions on the chain. And don't get me wrong, don't like vilify me here, because I know there's a lot of witnesses that work together and have created some incredible code, but we have just lost some of the big players, some of the big coders and employees at Steam Inc. Because they've resigned because of all this palaver and everything going on. But yeah, it's either the original, the fact that this person sees the governance as the original mafia that can soft fork to freeze funds, or Justin and his exchange gang. Bottom line is DPoS is trash. I don't believe DPoS is trash. I believe that DPoS, like any chain governance, is an evolution. It needs to evolve, constantly evolve. We're going to have big problems like this. You're going to have big debates like this. The bottom line for most people using the blockchain is immutability and the damn thing staying up, not nodes falling down and the chaos of it affecting the experience, for me anyway. But then we had some good news this morning with KuCoin. As the People's Exchange, KuCoin would like to stand with the people from Steam community who are fighting for their chain. We have decided to select Steam as the next project for KuCoin selection. The coin will be listed if certain requirements are met. Please stay tuned. Like, the fact that regardless of what you think of KuCoin, I don't know KuCoin or who they are, what their background is, but that's sending a message. We're in a great position right now. I know Dan talks about, like, see this as being bullish, but I'm finally starting to see the turning point, because we can't keep on doing this every single day. Like, I've got back in, you're now out, I'm back in. Like, I get it. You're emotional about it. You're determined about it. You want to win. Every fucker wants to win. But, like, also in the middle of that is that if everybody wants to win, at some point somebody's going to try and burn the whole fucking thing down as well. Another tweet was CZ Binance this morning, like 4 hours ago. Trading paused just to a message broker issue. I mean, you're going to have people out there. You're going to have hackers out there. You're going to have people, like, breaking critical parts of infrastructure or slowing bits of infrastructure down to make it look like there's an issue. If, like, customers start hearing this stuff on Twitter, then it becomes like a narrative power play, right? So you got somebody at the bottom who's picked up on that, right? If you have Steam on Binance, your funds aren't safe. They've been seized to participate in the hostile takeover of the Steam blockchain. You can have your money back in 13 weeks after they reclaim it. That's going to send people up in arms. So now you've got a PR thing to deal with, right? And so I expect reversals across the board because you've done wrong. You've used something that wasn't yours, not your property. Then I saw this morning response to the Steam network takeover. There's a whole bunch of stuff there, which I think is valuable. There is so much stuff out there that you need to read up about. John C. following this doesn't seem like either side intend any hostility, as both claim to have acted to secure the network. The issues are rooted in the voting mechanism. Not all DPoS chains are the same, although EOS and Steam might both use approval voting. There is options out there in terms of the voting mechanism that will need to be looked at now, need to be approached in a different way. I know they were on about reducing it from 30 witness votes to 10. I mean, on the blockchain for the last 3 or 4 years, we've been in the situation where we had this ninja mind sitting there. We had like controlling bodies of Ned who would occasionally rock up with his guitar on a live stream. The live stream wouldn't go right because he didn't have a team of people who know how to fucking live stream. So you have this like kind of chilled out vibe where there's something over there, but it's not a problem. So because it's not a problem, we'll keep eating parasitic like off the Steemit infrastructure, and then obviously that's an attack vector for somebody with a big pot of money who likes to go around swallowing up projects that don't seemingly to the outside world have a market fit. BitTorrent was that. Like BitTorrent tried for years to, take their whole idea of P2P to a general public audience. Like, we're going to offer hosting and going to do XYZ, but it can never shake its foundations, which is that most people saw it as a tool to download movies. They push really hard to be like, oh, we're going to use movie houses are going to use BitTorrent because they can move massive files and pay for peers to be online all the time. It just didn't get that market place, and in some ways Steam has been through that as well. uTorrent is the same. Tron took uTorrent, they bought that product because they needed a piece of software to go along with the BitTorrent, which they paid $140 million for. By the way, keep your eyes on Bram Cohen because I'm sure he's going to do some cool stuff. You might have 3 kids, but he's going to use that money in some smart way. You mark my words. But uTorrent was changed, recoded so that every transaction that happened through uTorrent for people downloading that software. So if millions of people have that software installed, they're going to get the update and it's going to have the changes in it. Now, when you do something using uTorrent on the BitTorrent network, that shows up on TronScan. So what Tron and Tron Foundation are doing is they're buying up stuff that they can like filter in TX records into TronScan, so it makes Tron look bigger. And I'm wondering, does that unlock certain amounts of money through investors for Justin Sun, or what does that do? Like, just making something look bigger than it actually is, even if it doesn't have any fucking utility or any end result. All I see is like these tweets that go out like, we're doing better today, we're doing better this week, and to me that's just like this soulless engine with a destination already in mind, an exit already in mind. Maybe it's an exit so that you can take all of this and just flip it into Bitcoin when Bitcoin is halving in 15 days. That's maybe why we're in a rapid race here to change some of the hard fork code, maybe change those power down days to a couple of days, take out his assets and flip it into something else. Who knows? But the Steemians don't want that because it's just going to destroy the chain. Let's see what else we got. What else we got here? Another one from Travel Feed. The fight is not over yet, Steemians. There is something going on. Steam Peak witnesses. We need to continue fighting, even though exchanges mentioned that they would withdraw their stakes. Only 3 consent witnesses are in the top 20. I mean, this is like way back now. This is March the 4th at 11:30. So that was early this morning. That has since changed. It's rapidly evolving. One thing I will say that's happened for the last 3 or 4 days is you start seeing like little tweets like this. What will be the strategy for today? For a decentralized group of people who are basically just nodes in a network, for them to come together and somebody is posting, like what's the strategy today? What are we all getting involved with? Like I don't know of any other blockchain on the internet that has a group. Maybe Meta Cartel with the Ethereum lot, maybe they've got a whole bunch. but maybe it's only a couple of thousand. Like, there's literally 10,000 Steemian Spartans kicking ass every single day through a Discord channel, and you've got to give props to that. Another one this morning: want to earn tokens for witness votes, but don't want to support proxy tokens pro Tron stance. Proxy to stop token, and you'll receive stop tokens at random intervals. Genius! Like, giving tokens away on Steam Engine by proxying, like, it's just a smart expression. Like, there's lots of these little smart like strategies going on. I feel like if you think of the Spartans like holding the little gap in the hills in the movie 300, like it's almost like we've got different divisions at the back that are going around and just wrecking stuff. Like, I freaking love that. Another one: Steam it. Hubbo Global and Binance are such scamming exchanges. Phone call from Justin Sun, and they voted for his takeover of Steam it. So if people are still holding Steam on the exchanges, try to withdraw it now. I would call this an embezzlement of user funds. Like, that in itself, I don't know how any of those exchanges like survive from this, because if Tron and Tron Foundation aim to like kill and win, then all of those are never going to hear the end of this. Never going to hear the end of this. I see Steam as a vehicle of very, very, very smart people and I believe that a lot of people thought that the engine of Tron and Tron Foundation could have made some incredible thing if there was dialogue. If there was a structured, smart dialogue, instead of it just being about growth and winning. Buying, shutting down, shuttering, and moving on. Like, there is a substance to the Steam blockchain. It's not just one of the 5,000 bloody tokens on coin market cap. There's a yes, okay, it's 0.17 cents right now. It's been through the mill over the last 2 or 3 years. But if you really, really dig deep into the Steam blockchain as to what's been built in that time, it's way more than any other chain out there, in my mind, from a social perspective, from a content creator perspective. All right, last few then. Proxy Token just voted on Tron dictatorship, trying to blackmail real Steam witnesses with a list of demands. This is kind of like a whole bunch of stuff from the Koreans, which this morning I think like they all voted on this proxy, and that's what flipped the script with lots of people who got a lot of the witnesses that got in last night. The 10 witnesses that got in last night got pushed out. I think that's changed since. It was interesting to see this spam to Steam. Haha, millennia later, they still bow to dictators from China. So there's a lot of heartfelt, like, damaging, like, state actor versus like communism versus like dictators versus like freedom of speech going on here. A lot of passion going around. Really difficult not to want to listen to FOMO in on some like Discord channel. Listen to that. If I was from Tron or any of those exchanges, I would be spending my time in the Discord listening to what people have to say, because if you truly take the time to listen what's going on here, this is not just a money play. This is like a global potential cultural shift, and it will happen at some point. And I think the Steemians think that Steam is the way, because of the collection of people that are there, and you would be stupid to give up on an opportunity of hearing it out. Last couple of things. Don't forget, this is the main culprit here. Deleting all his tweets won't save him from archive.com. Ha ha ha. Typical Addy. So yeah, I don't know if Ned, who effectively sold his shares, and I believe the Ninja Mine and everything else, I believe he's deleted all his tweets, which I mean, I don't know where this goes for Ned, or if he really, really thought this through, or this was like a last FU middle finger to the community. I don't feel like originally that was his point of view, but it really ended up being that way. From the AMA that we both watched, it was the worst AMA I've ever watched in my life. Like, it was obvious to me that both people knew that this was going to cause uproar, and they were still fine with that. that's not fucking cool at all. By the way, if this video gets taken down, this is on library as well. I'm also going to put a link to it on other sites that don't get taken down. Last thing today I want to say, no, that was it. I think I'm done. I've probably banged on for God knows how long anyway. 25 minutes. Holy shit. All right. I will catch you on the Steem blockchain, I'm sure. Let's have a quick refresh of this to see where we're at right now. Looks like we have witnesses back in for the time being. I would be expecting the strategy for today to be to do some kind of fork situation, but we'll see where it goes. Steemians keep fighting. Justin and Tron Foundation maybe take some time out to listen to what's going on, to see what's going on here, to realize that this is a road to nowhere for both parties if you just keep on warring against each other. And if there's a way to find commonalities and common grounds here, to reframe what this looks like for you and the Steem blockchain to a global audience who are watching this very intently, to see what happens with this whole DPoS consensus situation, then I would just like, I would bring your best people forward and debate this for at least the next week. No rash decisions. All right. I'll catch up with you soon. Bye.
Drifting slowly into an empty space where I can go. I'm just a roadblock for you, it seems. It's never enough, but I care so deeply. Holding